First, let me be the one to acknowledge that the lighting today is not going to be at its best. And as always, the information you hear on this podcast does come with a mental health disclaimer. So if you are suffering from mental health illnesses or you have any other elements that is health related, be sure to consult with a provider or any other professional in the field to verify that the information that is presented can be used in your treatment. We provide educational as well as entertainment when it comes to topics. So now that we got that out the way, hello, my Transform You family. It's Marcus Hart, veteran survivor, and your shameless faith guide. So imagine this. You are a vet, broken by war, you're dialing for help, but the lifeline you are promised is a ghost. What does that mean? Well, let's give you some more backstory about this. Thousands are dying, and it's not just from IEDs, but it's from a hidden trap in our very own healthcare system. What if I told you delayed care from these ghost networks is pushing our brothers and our sisters straight to the edge? Could your loved one be next? Now, I'm going to focus a lot on the veteran side of this, but this applies to anyone. Okay. You don't have to be a veteran to experience what is happening in our healthcare system. So stay with me because we are about to get ready to expose this crisis, and I'm going to teach you how you can fight back with hope. Hopefully, I can inspire you to do so. Let's break this down. I want to break this down. Those networks, that is when insurance lists doctors who aren't there. Now, I was at the health journalism conference when I got some light shed on this. Okay. And I was able to follow along with it. And I wanted to go back and revisit it because didn't realize it was a problem across the country. So again, these are the lists that insurance companies give you of doctors who aren't there. These lists, they outdated, unavailable, or they come with wait lists so long that you're left hanging. All right. When I was at the conference, they even mentioned that some of these lists had addresses to places that wasn't even existed. That wasn't even in existence. And some of these places were to pet stores, all type of crazy stuff. Can you imagine calling a pet store asking, can you get a therapy session? They'll look at the phone and think you're crazy, but imagine how many calls they get per day because their business is listed under some doctor's name that doesn't even exist. So, how was this found out? Okay. The American Psychological Association actually found 60% of mental health listings that are bunk. And for vets, it's even worse because 25% of VA contracted providers are ghosts. And that's per some recent reports that I heard. Now, again, I want you to just go with me to imagination world and picture this, visualize it. A vet that's calling for PTSD help, only to hit a dead end and pan out of the network or choosing to just abandon care altogether because it's so much of a hassle. Now, again, I'm focusing on the vet side. These numbers are much more higher on the civilian side. NAMI, in fact, has data that shows that 15% of vets drop out due to this imaginal 15 out of 100, of these warriors are just giving up. It's unimaginable numbers. And the cost, well, VA's 2024 report says 17.5 vets, they die by suicide. How often? This is daily. 17.5 vets dying by suicide daily. And that totals out to over 6,000 per year, with 62% never ever seeing VA care. It's heavy, man. So delayed help, it just keeps putting the gas on the fire to make it much, much worse. And that's JAMA, says it spikes emergency visits by 20%. And for vets with PTSD or addiction, the risk skyrockets to anywhere between 236 per 100,000. These isn't just numbers, folks. We're talking about lives. And I can remember a brother that I lost to despair after a wreck, you know? I mean, he was waiting months for a call back that never came. And just like that, that was the end of it for him. Okay. And the medical bills that never came, or the initial consultation, or a referral to somewhere else, it just never came, never happened. Now, I myself personally, I walked this world 2004, is when I started seeing other comrades going through this, but it became much more of a real thing for me when I deployed in 2006 to Iraq, and it hit hard. You know, IEDs stole my comrades, racism and an assault broke me, and PTSD, it dragged me into atheism and the occult. And consequently, I failed a bandit, discharged with no real help, found myself tangled in VA red tape, and then all these legal battles that I had to face post 2017 landed me incarcerated. You know, that's my ghost network. Systems that keep failing when people like me need the most. But in that dark tent, for me, it was Jesus that showed up, very vivid, very real, pulling me from the edge. And my 2008 healing after a near fatal injury, it proved that there is hope beyond broken systems. And in jail, I was able to counsel inmates, turning despair into purpose. And now, as a mental health journalist, I'm here to shout. I'm here to shout to everyone that you are not alone. And unfortunately, not everyone is going to walk the same path I did to finally get some relief and get some healing. And my journey just proves that even when lifeline fades and fades away so badly, faith and community can be the breakthrough that you need. Now, we can't just sit here. Oh, no, no. Because action is the only answer. Now, there's an act called the HANA Act, ANNON. It brings telehealth and therapies like art or yoga to rural vets, you know, vets that's too far from any specialty clinic or any VA. And while they face the fight, you know, there's actually an organization called Face the Fight that offers a lot of holistic support. Now, faith, again, for me, it's my anchor. I have a community like the very own Transcend Transformation community that saved me, and I'm pushing for VA to enforce directory fixes. So I just hope that you guys join me. You can visit my library of resources and also inquire about coaching at marcus-hart.com/shop, www.marcus-hart.com/shop, and at transformumedia.com/contract-us, contact-us. Now, I know I sound like I say certain words differently, but I try to correct myself when I can. Just bear with me, especially when I haven't had any water. It just seems like the dryness really gets my tongue tangled. Now, if you got story ideas or any other ideas that can contribute to the conversations that we have here on the Transform You Live show, be sure to submit them at transformumedia.com/media dash newsrooms. Because the fight for our vets, it isn't just on the battlefield. It is absolutely ensuring that their lifeline isn't a lie. Okay. You don't want to let another veteran get referred to directory of providers that is totally non-existent. Okay, it's not right, and we shouldn't stand for that. Okay, and not only just for our veterans, in the general population too. There's this problem is just has chaos all over it, and we seeing people who just giving up hope, and because they stuck with these insurance companies that don't want to do the right thing. They don't want to audit the list, or they just want to keep prolonging the help that you need, because the longer they prolong it, the more likely that they don't have to pay for it or worry about it. They can just keep collecting your premium, your monthly premium that you pay, and keep making sure you go to your primary provider, and then you get those co-pays that are like, so, we got to do something about this. We have to be more voiceless, speak for the voiceless, and just do what we can to reach out to the proper entities that we know can fix this problem. So stand with us. And the best way you can do that is to comment, share, let's say lives together. Call your local government official. Okay, let them know what you learned here on the Transform You Live show. Because again, this is one of those topics that you don't see in the news. You're not going to see it in the news. It's crazy that so much of this is happening in our country, and we think that it's just health insurance is out of reach, but really providers that can provide the help is out of reach and not being added to the recommended list of providers that can provide it. So this is a accessibility problem much more than it is dealing with the cost of healthcare, which of course healthcare is expensive, but if we get in being able to be referred to the proper specialty clinics with proper providers that can give us preventative care, we can lower the cost of healthcare. We won't have to pay these high healthcare premiums, these co-pays. We won't have to just settle for going to a hospital that has a bad approval rating and that just doesn't treat their patients well. Okay, so there's other options, and again, we have to speak up and let people know that we care about those options. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit us with a like, because your subscription to this channel and also the likes and the comments, it does help to get the message out a lot further. And if this is one of those messages you really care about, it will not help the rest of us at all if you just keep it to yourself. Any blessings, peace, and lots of love. I'm Marcus, and I'm out.
I stand for what you stand for. I'm at your door like the landlord. I can see the future, yeah, I fast forward. I get on the mic and I transform. Follow me, I'm in rare form. Follow me on this world tour. The asteroid that you can't avoid.